It's 6 o'clock. A very good evening to you. You're watching News at Prime with me, Tembekile Mkhototo. Plenty of stories to cover within the next 2 hours, and we begin in the High Court in Bloemfontein, which is set to hear evidence on the actual work done in a feasibility study which the Free State government paid 25 million rand for. That is when the second state witness appears in that court on the third day of proceedings in the Nulane case tomorrow. National Treasury's Piwe Mahlangu concluded his cross-examination today. Erin Bates is our woman on the story, joins us live from just outside the court. Erin, Mahlangu's evidence tested today. How did he fare?
Goodness, I think we're going to have to leave that up to the presiding officer, Acting Judge Nompumelelo Gusha, to make a decision on that one. But he certainly faced a lot of heat just to match the weather before the clouds came overhead here in Bloemfontein in the Mangong municipality. Mahlangu Tembekile really facing scrutiny over his relationship with a Hawks investigator, an investigator Mtolo, who really dispatched him or kind of mandated him to do these analyses of certain documents in relation to the agreement between the Free State Government Department and Nulane Investments for this feasibility study linked to the Mohuma Mobung project. And Mahlangu faced scrutiny, for example, over the fact that he drafted his affidavit. He then contacted Mtolo. Mtolo at some point came to National Treasury's offices. Mahlangu says he read through the affidavit to Mtolo, and Mtolo then acted as Commissioner of Oaths. And it was counsel for Dinesh Patel of Islandside Investment, his brother-in-law to Iqbal Sharma of Nulane Investments, who really pressed him on this and said that that was entirely irregular, and Mtolo shouldn't have been the Commissioner of Oaths since he'd been involved in commissioning the work to begin with. The same counsel also really grilled him on the veracity of his evidence, how honest he'd been with the court, what documents he'd looked at, what documents he hadn't looked at. And then we had counsel for Saipati Dlamini, also of the Free State Government Department, involved here, actually calling him a dog on a leash. This prompting the state prosecutor to stand up and object to the language, and that lawyer then sort of, vaguely backtracking on it, but not giving a very elaborate apology. He just changed his wording to say that he was on a rope. And so the work here of counsel for these criminally accused in this high-stakes state capture matter is to find weaknesses in Mahlangu's evidence and try and have as much of it sort of pushed off the table as possible. We're barely out of the stable here. This is just a few pieces of the puzzle as we move into weeks of his testimony in this criminal trial.
And tomorrow we hear then more detail, we're expecting at least to hear more detail about this feasibility study and why it was allegedly a rip-off.
Yes, that's right, because as far as we know, according to the indictment from the NPA's ID, that investigative directorate, Deloitte was paid some 1.5 million rand. And interesting to hear today from Advocate Kenny Oldwage, Senior Counsel for Patel, that the feasibility study with Denel was apparently done some weeks before all the paperwork was signed, sealed and delivered. And he claims that his client only knew about the contract between Nulane and the Free State government toward the end of October. I believe he said the 20th, but I've been muddling up my numbers all day, so I will err on the side of caution about putting my neck on the line for that one. So Tembekile, that's all set to come up. We're going to have that Deloitte evidence, and it's only one of at least two witnesses from Deloitte, that company, to come and appear in this criminal proceedings.
Erin Bates, thank you very much for that explanation live from Bloemfontein outside the High Court. Thank you.